Okay. Hey, what's happening, Tim, with Nomad Trading? Trying to get everything on here. For some strange, ridiculous reason, I could not open a Google window. So I've been sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to open a Google window, and for whatever reason, it would not do that. It would open everything else, but not a Google window with my YouTube and all that. Anyway, got it figured out finally. So, runner recap today. Hopefully you can all hear me once we get a couple of people in here. Say what's up in the chat if you can hear me. I'm using a different mic. Got an audio interface and a different mic working today than what I typically have, so hopefully you can hear me. Awesome. There we go. What's up? Cool. Okay. Now I've got to reopen all my windows since it froze up and everything went kaput on me. This computer's been awesome. Never had any problems until now, but I think it's just getting bogged down by the time I'm running 2 different trading platforms and stock screeners and YouTube streaming and all this different stuff. Okay. We will start with my trades for the day. Right now I'm watching DDD. I was actually going to short it at 32. Had to run an errand real quick, so didn't want to be stuck short into after hours where I could not place a stop. And I couldn't watch it, etc. So I didn't do that, but that looks like it might have ended up working. Would have been a little bit stressed out at one point, but it looks like it would have possibly worked. This is a former runner, and I can actually get shares to short in CMEG of it, so that's why I was thinking, hey, if this gets up to 32 or thereabouts, because if you look at the this is the daily chart down here, so we were coming up 31.50 or so was the previous high, and it kind of looked like it was starting to slow down at a little bit under 31, kind of bouncing off of 31. Then it was looking like it was slowing down a little bit at 31.50, so I was thinking, hey, 32 would be a good spot for this. And yeah, I'm going to bet that it's going to come back down because I don't think there's any new news that's pushing it up. Anyway, I'm getting this stupid message on YouTube now saying that you guys are not receiving smooth streaming, so put something in the chat if you stop being able to see this. I don't know if it has to do with, usually I have a condenser, USB condenser mic that I use, but I've been messing around with an audio interface and a different microphone and different setup, so I don't know if that's going to stress the system. I don't know enough to know anyway, so just definitely let me know if I start freezing or there's some issues going on. I'm a noob. I appreciate your breakdown. Thanks. Is it possible to raise your volume? Okay. Let me try that out. Let me see what I got here. And if this mic doesn't work, I can change it to a different, back to the other one. How about now? Can you hear me now? Or is it too loud now? Better now or too loud? I may just end up switching back to that other mic if it's not going to work. Anyway, I'll keep going for the moment. Let me know what's up in the chat, and I'll mess with it some more. DDD, yeah, so I was going to short that, but I didn't. That's the one I've been watching right here into the end of day. Better. Okay, cool. So, yeah, this is one I was looking at shorting into the end of the day. I kind of drew a trend line here that I had on there that would have maxed it out around the 32 plus the The previous high was in the 3150 area, so I was thinking this might end up being where this peaks out and possibly fades back down for maybe a buck a share or so short scalp. But anyway, had to leave. Did not do it. What I did do, let's look at what I actually traded today so far. Well, I probably won't trade after hours, so I'm probably done for the day. Whoops, fat fingered that. LXRX was probably the hottest stock of the day, or the one that I saw that was the hottest stock of the day, the one that I saw that was the most appetizing for me. As you can see up here, I made 45 bucks in my little E-Trade account, the one that I use more like a checking account, that little side account. 45 bucks on that. That was going long, I believe, right here, and I didn't hold it very long, and I got back out of it. So I did what I usually do and got out way too fast, but it did work out. I mean, it was a little $45 winner on a $1,200 account or whatever, so not too bad. Didn't take any trades on the bigger E-Trade account. I did trade on CMEG. Let me see what that ended up at. Bear with me here. I gotta get it and drag it over. So CMEG account ended up $140.60 to the upside on LXRX. So that was the only thing I traded. The only ticker I traded today was this LXRX, and I left tons on the table. I had the right idea. I took the trades, but then I'd get scared and get out of it. I had 2,000 shares of LXRX 2 different times today. So I had, all kinds of potential to make thousands of dollars, and ended up getting scared out and cutting it. It'd shake down a little bit, and I'd just cut it for basically break even, because when you get 2,000 shares 2 different times, you only make 140. I was cutting them almost break even, like a penny or a fraction of a penny gain, but it was looking like it was going to dump on me, and I didn't want to end up, because if you look at some of these red candles, they're 759, actually the top of that 784 to 672, so you're talking about over $1 a share, and the last thing I wanted was to have a $1 a share drop when I'm holding 2,000 shares. So the moral of that story is I should have just traded smaller, and then I would have been more comfortable holding it longer. Sounds like smooth jazz. I like it. Oh, what time do I trade? Opening or later? Usually later lately. I used to trade, I need to trade opening a lot more, and when I had my scanner, I did. But it's kind of one of those things where I don't have the scanner. And again, let me know if something is not working, because I keep getting this error message from YouTube that it shows that there's an error, and I don't know if that means that you guys can't see me or can't hear me or anything like that, but it just keeps giving me this error. Also, don't forget to hit the old like button and whatnot, and join us in the chat if you don't mind, for the old YouTube algorithm. So anyway, those trades where I had my 2,000 shares were both on I drew this trend line here. So I did it once right in here. I think it was this drop right here. It dropped, and I thought it was going to hit the trend line and bounce off. So I bought 2,000 shares like somewhere right in here. And then it ended up kind of popping up, then popping right back down real quick. And then I got scared thinking it was going to break down. So I get out of it. And then I did the same thing. I had kind of a trend line here and thought, hey, if it shoots up here, I might get a nice piece of this move. So I did the same thing, bought it somewhere in here, ended up getting scared and selling it right after. So yeah, the moral of the story for me today is I should have been trading smaller, which would have made me more comfortable. when I start getting up there, I keep having green days, which is good. And I think this is probably like 2 weeks or so of green days without having a red day, maybe even longer than that. So then I start getting the confidence from that, but that, that tells me, okay, I need to scale up because my goal is $100 a day. So I'm like, okay, I need to scale up, and then I'll make, even more than that. I've been averaging the $100 a day for a while now. So now I've been thinking I need to scale up. So today I was like, I'm going to start, scaling up. I'll take some bigger positions when I feel pretty good about it. But then ultimately I got the position and I get scared out. So it's kind of difficult to make that transition from small size to a little bit bigger size when you start trading 1,000 shares and 2,000 shares and 3,000 shares. It's just, I don't know, it's scarier. Looks like it's kind of breaking down now. We'll see if it double bottoms right there in the 750s. But anyway, as far as what we had today, had some nice moves on this. It followed that trend line pretty nicely, so you could have bought it there for the dip, or the break of VWAP would have been a better spot to get in, or you could have bought the high of daybreak right there around $6 and had a nice move. Of course, it's always easy to look back, retrospect and see the great opportunities. It's harder to see them in real time and feel confident about them. But and again here, this would have been, you could have bought the high of daybreak here. This seemed pretty risky. I did think about the high of daybreak here, but it seemed like risky. I want to say there might have been resistance somewhere around $8 maybe. Yeah. So if we zoomed out far enough on like the 3-year chart on the daily down here, you start getting up into some of these peaks and this area of consolidation here when you start getting up above 8. So I didn't really want to be buying into that. I need to probably bite the bullet and just go ahead and get a scanner and start trading earlier. That's why I haven't been, to answer the question from Nafissa earlier, is that I haven't had the scanner, so I can kind of stream YouTube scanners and stuff, but I've gotten this habit basically of not taking much for trades until kind of mid-morning and then seeing how things develop. And just because I've had this long string of green days, mind you, they're not big green days, but they're still green days. So then you get in that habit and you don't really want to change too much because it's like, hey, it's working. I'm growing the accounts a little bit at a time and making my goal of 100 a day average. So it's hard to switch gears and be like, all right, now I'm going to start trying to trade right at market open when it's kind of working. So I don't know. I guess I probably do need to bite the bullet and just get a scanner and pay the money and start using it, because that's really what got me. I used to always be pre-market and right in market open. I traded a lot more then. But that was because I had a scanner constantly scanning right there in the corner and showing me what was moving. I could see the moves quicker and all that without changing screens or opening a screen or looking at somebody else's lagging YouTube channel or whatever. So that's kind of how I got in this habit of trading a little bit later. It's not what most day traders do. Most day traders are trading right out of the gate. Anyway, okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, LXRX for the win. You got that right, Trader Paul. That thing was a monster. I had 2,000 shares 2 different times, and I can't remember. I want to say yeah, where was the first one at? I have to look back in here. The first one, 649. So yeah, that would have been great if I had held that from, let's see, 649. I think it was this dip right here. Yeah, so I was buying it right here somewhere in this dip, I guess, the first time, or maybe it was right here. No, that was the second time. Okay, the first time was I was buying this dip and ended up selling it for break even, basically. I mean, I ended up $185 green, so not too far from doubling my $100 a day goal, so I can't complain about it. But it is frustrating to look back at it and be like, oh man, you know, I had 2,000 shares at $6.49 and it went to $9, or, you know, actually it went all the way to $9.40. But so that's a little bit frustrating. Several $1,000s left on the table, but that's just how it is with trading, I guess. Especially, you know, I'm not a guru, I'm not amazing at it, so it's one thing I need to work on is feeling comfortable holding longer, because I do that almost every day. 47 to 710, that's awesome. You held it that whole time. That's just need to type that in there real quick. That is awesome. Stochastics, yeah, I've messed around with stochastics a little bit. 2 minute when 958, kind of bullish engulfing when I entered. Makes sense. I'm testing black box and grab the pre-market stocks. Interesting. On 1,000 shares, that's awesome. That's a great trade right there. I envy you now. I have complete trader envy. If I just held either time that I bought the 2,000 shares, both times my plan actually worked out, and yet I sold because I panicked out. And I even talk about it every day. You know, I'm pretty sure I was just talking about yesterday about, you know, if your emotions are controlling your clicking of the button, then you need to scale down. And then here I am doing, you know, exactly the opposite of that the very next day, taking 2,000 shares and then sitting there, you know, all nervous and emotional, like, what if my plan doesn't work, to where I end up selling it 2 different times and the plan did work. So it's, yeah, very frustrating to do that. What else we got here? Move on. UAVS was hot. I traded a bunch of shares, I thought. I kept seeing it pop up anyway. I didn't trade it myself. So from the 7s, yeah, that's why I was hitting the scanners. From the 7s all the way to 1140. So that's a monster move. Definitely could have easily taken the high of day break there. The high of day break at 882, and never once would it have stopped you out or come down against you, because it didn't even come back down there in that range. All the way. Actually, it still hasn't. It's never touched that. So you could have bought the high of daybreak and never had any worry the entire day and taken profit wherever you felt like it. That's pretty awesome. Could have had $2 a share on that. I don't know why I didn't trade that, honestly. I remember seeing it a couple of different times, but never bought it. What else did we have? GME traded a bunch. Pretty sideways though. Looks like it could be consolidating now. I remember thinking this might be a decent short, but I couldn't get shares to short. And then that was yesterday, I believe. Yeah, that was yesterday. And I'm glad I didn't, because it gapped up. And then now it's almost looks like it's consolidating and could go higher. I'd be watching around that $40 range and see if it might not go back up and test that. But that's a little bit higher stock too. You get up in the 40s. Dtss was another one. This one I watched, but this was a little bit more difficult to trade. It did curl back up, consolidate, and then break out. So I would say that the trade on this one would have been this breakout past the previous highs. This actually was pre-market, so the pre-market high. But it did test it several times, and then as it broke it, that would have been the spot to get in. So 445, 450, somewhere in there. And then easily $1 a share, but you could have taken 50 cents pretty stress-free and sold at 5. That's what I would have attempted to do. Or, knowing me lately, I would have taken the trade and then jumped right back out of it a few cents later. And my small account, the difference is that small account where I made the $45 on it, that was I made like 30 or 40 cents a share, but it's a tiny account. And then the bigger account, you know, had I made 30 or 40 cents a share 2 different times on the 2,000 shares, now those would have been nice trades. So the small account, no emotions, because it's trading small, so there's just really hardly any emotion there at all. And then I can hold it longer. And then I start buying 2,000 shares, and the emotions take over and control my plan. What's up, SZ? What's up, Mike Lewis? Oh, no scanner is a pain, Mr. Paul. Such a pain. What set do you use for E-Trade? Well, what do you mean by set? No, I do use CMEG. This is me on CMEG. I just don't use CMEG. I don't like CMEG's charting as well, and I don't like CMEG's their executions and everything are amazing. I just don't like the charting, and that's really what it's honestly, it's just the charting. I don't like the commissions, obviously, but that's just, it is what it is. But I don't like the charting. So whenever I'm talking on YouTube and doing stuff, or even when I'm trading in CMEG, I'm usually charting on E-Trade Pro. I just have gotten used to it over, I've been doing it with E-Trade Pro for like 5 years now, so it's just a lot more fluid to me, and it's just what I'm comfortable with. So I do trade CMEG. I'm just looking at the charts more on E-Trade Pro, and I like it better for explaining stuff. I'm more comfortable with it overall. So yeah, I run both platforms simultaneously, E-Trade Pro on one screen and CMEG on the other screen. Oh. I use Sterling. That was just a flip of the coin, though. I didn't have experience with DOS or Sterling. I just kind of researched, and it seemed like there was about half and half. Half the people that I saw loved Sterling, and the other half loved DOS. So I just picked one. I think that at the time, Ross Cameron was using Sterling for his small account challenge, and I was like, okay, he uses Sterling. I believe that's why I actually chose that. But I remember it being a 50-50, kind of like when I started using E-Trade. There's a lot of different brokers, and I just kind of picked one. And CMEG, I just picked a platform. Okay, E-Trade account. How would I get the same setup that you're using? Well, do you have Power E-Trade or E-Trade Pro? It should say, if it looks kind of like this, excuse me, or if it's Power E-Trade, it'll probably say Power in the corner of it, and you probably get to it by going to their website and then clicking like the launch button in the corner. And I'm gonna guess you probably don't have like an icon on your home screen or anything on your computer. Okay, so yeah, we talked about DTSS. I was actually, let's see, where was it? I was watching it for short, actually, but of course CMEG didn't have shares to short, so it didn't matter. they never have shares to short of anything anymore for whatever reason. So anything that I want to short anyway. The only thing they've had all day that I could short that I wanted to short was that DDD. And yeah, that's looking like it would have worked out nicely. It's back to 31 and I wanted to short it at 32. So that would have been decent. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Didn't. Commission is a pain. You're right about that. And I don't. I guess I do and I don't. Just depends on the stock. You have Power E-Trade? Okay. Yeah, that's what most people have. They're trying to push people into Power E-Trade. That's kind of like, I don't know what the reasoning is or why they've decided this, but for whatever reason, they're trying to push people into Power E-Trade. Like when I started, excuse me, when I started 5 years ago with E-Trade, they were pushing E-Trade Pro. So you could get it pretty easily. And it was kind of what they wanted because they charge you $100 a month for it unless you place, the minimum amount of trades, and then you get it for free. I've never paid for it, so I always hit the minimums. Even with the small account that's under PDT, I've still never paid for it. So just to put that into perspective, it's pretty much a free platform, and it's commission free, hardly any ECN fees. I mean, it's super cheap, which is, what I like about the big brokers. But anyway, they pushed E-Trade Pro a lot. Now, for whatever reason, they've switched gears and they want to push Power E-Trade, which is their online platform. So to get E-Trade Pro, you have to contact their customer service and get them to send you a link. The requirements, I think the requirements are $1,000 in your account, I want to say. And then you have to pay to subscribe to real-time quotes or something like that, whatever they call their level 2 and data system. You have to subscribe to that, which costs money. But I don't believe I've ever paid for any of that. I'm pretty sure they give you a rebate on all that. You can fact check me on Google or on E-Trade's website or customer service, but I want to say I hardly ever pay anything. You pay virtually nothing. Like compared to CMEG, it's like night and day what you pay to place the same trades and have a platform and all that. So anyway, if you want Pro, if you want it to look like this and get an actual level 2. So the downside, by the way, while we're on that topic, the downside to Power E-Trade is they don't have a real true level 2 like this. Like when you got a full level 2 like this, which you need if you're going to actually day trade and scalp like I do. They do have a version of level 2 and all that on Power E-Trade. It's just not set up as good if you're going to like take trading seriously to where you're going to be doing it all day, every day and stuff. Then you kind of want Pro, but you have to request that from customer service. Yeah, maybe you might be right, Kev. It might be 2K. Could even be 2,500. I really can't remember, honestly. Yeah, I still trade with CMEG. I would say that I'd kind of trade the 3 accounts. I don't know. Like every day, I typically trade like all 3 accounts. The small E-Trade, one that I use more like a checking account, because I have a debit card. You can get a debit card linked with your account. So that small E-Trade account, which is obviously under PDT because it's only got like 1,000 in it, or sometimes 2,000 in it, just depending. And so I use that as like a reloading checking account in a way. Like I'll trade with it and make, like today I made $45 or whatever, and I might use that and go buy McDonald's or something with it today or tomorrow. And then the next day or the next time I have a trade in there, when PDT allows, I'll trade with it again and try to make another $30, $50, $100, whatever. And it's kind of just like never-ending reloading checking account is how I use that one. I probably trade the CMEG one a lot more, and I trade the bigger E-Trade account here and there. Just use it if Thinkorswim goes down. Yep. How do you like Thinkorswim? I'm in the process of opening an account, but I'm scared of getting eaten up with the fees and the commissions. Yeah, that can definitely happen. I spent you gotta, if you use a promo code, you can get it for I think $2.95 per trade. Per side, so you're basically spending $6 a trade, and then you have ECN fees on top of that. So yeah, there's no doubt about it. It can really add up. I've made videos about it. I don't know if you've seen my videos about it or not, but that one, I made a video about it where I made decent money with the account, the small account, but it was all made like $700 in 5 weeks or whatever, and it was all eaten away by commissions and ECN fees and platform fees, because they charge you $125 platform fee, like $6 with the promo code, $6 per round trip on your trades. Then you got ECN fees on top of that. Wiring money in and out is expensive. It's just expensive. So the way you get around it is by sizing up. I mean, like, if you get better at trading and you use bigger positions. But my whole thing about it, the reason I made that video, was just that, like, most people that are using CMEG are doing it to get around the PDT because they're newer traders. So that's kind of my problem with it. You don't want to be a new trader and size up. A lot of people have made that comment. They're like, well, if you use double size, you would have made good money, which is true. I could take the same trades with double size, and then when I made that video, I would have made $700 in profit, because the fees are kind of a fixed fee. If you use bigger size, you're still paying the same fee, and that's true. But do you really want to be out there telling new traders that are using CMEG that they need to use, more size to overcome the commissions? Because that's not going to work. You're just going to have more losses along with your commissions. Anyway, what else was moving today? Thinkorswim. I've been thinking, I can't remember where it was, maybe Instagram or somewhere, that somebody had a screenshot of Thinkorswim and they shorted something. I don't know. Whatever it was I saw today, it kind of got me thinking again. Maybe I should get some money moved over and do a Thinkorswim account. I don't know. I'm always trying to decide if I want to open different accounts, more accounts, but so their customer service is not very good. Execution sucks. Yeah, that is a problem. I would say that E-Trade is that way too. So E-Trade's not the best broker for scalping like I do, but it works. It's not terrible. Kind of depends on what level you're at. Like, if you get to the level that like Ross is at, Ross Cameron with Warrior Trading, then you don't want to trade with E-Trade. If you're at like my level, I'm not trading with giant size and stuff. I don't have to have perfect executions, it doesn't matter as much. But if I was trading with 10,000 shares like he does all the time, then I wouldn't be using E-Trade. But it's, as far as like getting started, it's a decent broker to get started on. Let's see what else moved. Bngo was another one I had. I was kind of watching, getting up there in this same consolidation range from years ago. I guess it's been a couple years since that, but that's kind of where it keeps running out of steam. If we zoom in a bit, this was one that previously ran from like 50 cents all the way up to over $7. Came down, consolidated, jumped again, and then today again. Now we have it actually breaking out again, and we're back over that previous day's high. So that's why I've been kind of watching it, but I have not traded it. Mainly because, like I said, if you zoom out far enough and you get in that like 2 and 3 years out, you can see that that's where the consolidation is. So it gets a little bit more risky buying up in that area because it's more likely to find its resistance in there. What else did we have? Can't remember what else was moving today. Yeah, he does. He uses light speed, you're right. E-Trade's like that at open too. E-Trade, I was talking about that actually just yesterday, that E-Trade is that way where it can be pretty dang glitchy at market open. A lot of times if I actually do try to trade right at market open, it'll just be like frozen and I don't even get my trade in. So there's some glitchy issues with E-Trade's platform for sure, but DDD for a short tomorrow? Yeah, very possibly. Let's look at I like this view better where I can see multiple time frames. I've gotten to where I used to I know I talked about this yesterday too. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, maybe it was the day before. I used to have like one time frame, and that's what I use all these big screens for. But now I've just gotten used to pretty much trading. I trade on this screen where I can see the 5 minute, the 1 minute, and the daily is typically what I'm looking at. So yeah, it definitely could be a decent short. It's got to be squeezing to even be up this high at this point, but yeah. The price targets, like there's news, like the news is just fluffy news, like this news that Jeff Graves is presenting at some conference. Whoopee. I mean, you see that kind of news all the time on stocks like this. And then the news that it was raised to neutral from underweight by JP Morgan, and its price target was raised to $14 a share, and here we are at more than twice that. So at some point, it's going to be a decent short. Pretty confident of that. It's just a matter of timing it right and not being one of the poor guys that's caught on the wrong side of a squeeze. So I would say that's what it's doing, is squeezing at this point. Just got shorts trapped because everybody was like, why is this up so much when the price target was 14? So probably a lot of shorts piled on it, and it's squeezing them. But as you can see, it kind of peaked out right here in this same area in the 31.50-ish spot, and that's kind of where we're hanging right now. So have to see what it does tomorrow. Does it keep squeezing? It could. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked when you see this type of move if it kind of forms a little bit of almost a long-term cup and handle and then keep squeezing. That could happen, so you got to be careful with it and cover it when it breaks high of day. Don't the good thing about up here is you can short it and you can cover it high of day if it's breaking and making a new high. Just get out of it. I don't like to hold shorts overnight, or I might consider shorting this. But yeah, not trying to have it gap up $3 on me or something. But anyway, at some point, yeah, I think this is going to turn and come back down to reality, because at this point, I have no idea why it's up in the 30s other than squeezing shorts. Let's see here. Don't like Thinkorswim anymore, but I'll give them 5 stars for one option the software allows you to do is on demand. I like it better with simulators during open hours. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I've been thinking about, the ones I've really been thinking about are Weeble and Thinkorswim. But I don't know. You guys are all, you know what it takes to open a new account at a broker. It's kind of a pain in the butt, and then you're spreading your money around more. And I'm already trading 3 different accounts on 2 different platforms. So do I want to add, a 4th account and another platform, learn that? So it would probably be more of getting rid of E-Trade. And I guess I'm just sentimental about E-Trade. I've been using them for 5 years, and I just like their charting, and I'm comfortable with it. So I like their level 2. All of it is just comfortable to me. It's not the best, but it's comfortable. But I also like actually trading at CMEG. And I've thought about Lightspeed, but with Lightspeed, I'd have to put most of my money in that account to do that, because I want to say, well, I know they're under PDT, but I can't remember what the minimum amount is over there. I guess it's not very high, but I would want to be over PDT. I don't know. So I could transfer this account, this E-Trade account, over to there, but then I got 3 different platforms. I don't know. Thoughts on UA? Uh-oh, we're going to get a feud going down in here. Over Weeble. Fidelity would be worth a look. Okay. Jay Dubman in the house. Thoughts on UA? That's what I was going to look at. Old Under Armour. Let's see. I'm going to zoom this out on the daily. So yeah, hey, it kind of, look at that. It's kind of a nice cup and handle there on the daily chart, just long term. Kind of formed its cup and then its handle, and it's going up. So yeah, it could, in theory, be heading towards 1750, 18, and filling this little gap here. Could even keep going. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, at this point. On the daily chart anyway. I don't know if you're talking about day trading it or long term, like investing in it. Just depends. This is a 5-minute chart for 7 days. 14 days in the 5-minute chart, so it looks like it could be hopefully consolidating here, maybe for another leg up on this time frame. All kind of depends on what your plan is with it, how long you want to hold it, if you're investing in it or just trying to scalp it, or what you're doing with it. You have to pay for level 2 on Weeble. Interesting. Just curious what your main job is that you have time to trade. No job currently, actually. No official actual job. My job was, I worked at a place that makes cans, like a container manufacturer. But over the summer, we went through this insanely long, ridiculous strike. I talked about it in another live stream, but for those of you that are in here, that were in here then, probably don't want to hear my whole story again. But anyway, yeah. So long story short, the company tried to screw us over. Then the union screwed us over. So we got screwed from both sides and basically got severance pay and told not to let the door hit us on the way out. So since then, I've been just doing YouTube, trading, and then I work. My little brother's got a marketing company, so I've been doing like contracting out on the side with that also. And I've never lived beyond my means, which is key. So I don't have like tons of payments and stuff. So like I've been doing this for the last couple of months anyway. If you don't have, $5,000 a month in payments, it's not very stressful whenever your job doesn't work out. I'd been there for 5 years, so it wasn't ideal. I mainly missed the benefits and all that, but it paid good too. I only worked half the year and made pretty good money, so it sucks, but it is what it is. Maybe trading will become my full-time thing. I would not say that trading is like, I don't even treat trading full-time right now like I should. I do trade almost every day, something, but I don't stare at the computer the entire day. I'm not up at, at one point when I was really hungry for trading and just obsessed with it, I would get up any day that I wasn't working. I'd be up at like 5 in the morning and I'd watch it from then until, all pre-market, the whole day, and then the whole after hours, and, it would consume my life. And now I don't do that. Now I'm more like, I'll get up early if I feel like it, or I'll jump in the market. If I don't feel like getting up early, I'll jump in mid-morning, look and see what's hot. If I don't see anything, I'll go do something else, come back. So it's kind of like just a hobby. But I have been considering it more. I need to go back and look and see how many green days I've had in a row now, but it's been at least a couple of weeks of green days of making my $100 a day average. So it's definitely making me consider the possibility of sizing up, and trying to make it more of a full-time thing, taking it more serious. Hey, thanks, Kev. Oh, anyway. Would you trade 9:30 to 4 5 days a week, or would you rather wake up early and get it done early? That's a good question. I gotta say, this has been a total different. Everything in my life is like literally upside down from what it was, like six months ago or whatever, before the strike. Because my job, I had to be at work before 6, and I worked 12-hour days. So I got in a routine of being in bed really early and then being up usually at like 4:30 in the morning. But now, when you don't have a reason to do that, and you don't have like anything that makes you do that, it's pretty easy to fall into the different schedule. So now I find myself staying up late a lot more and waking up later in the morning, and I don't know, it's kind of like being retired. So I'm still trying to get back into that, get on a little better time schedule like I used to be. I don't know if I want to get up at 4:30 in the morning. That gets kind of old, but pre-market where I live, I'm in the Midwest, and so I'm on Central Time. So the market opens at 8:30. So yeah, I could, if I get a scanner, or if E-Trade brings their scanner back or whatever, yeah, I'll probably start having more reason to be up at 7 and actually do that. Not having the scanner's kind of been my excuse, I guess, to be lazy and sleep in a lot, and then I come in here. And then it becomes, like I said earlier, it becomes a thing where when you're profitable so many days in a row, not big positions or anything, I'm not bragging because I'm not making much money taking these small positions. But when you have that many, like a big string of green days in a row, it's kind of like, why do I need to wake up earlier? It's actually working pretty good, just getting up and checking it here and there, taking a trade if I see it, moving on with my day, coming back in. So treating it kind of part-time has been working better than the years that I was more obsessed with it. But then again, also I was trading with a lot more size, which adds the emotion and all that, whereas now there's not very much emotion. Oh, I have considered different platform like Lightspeed. I want to use. I may do Lightspeed. That's one that I have looked into. It's just like I said, it becomes a pain in the behind to switch brokers or add a third platform when I'm already trading two. It's always that the pros and cons of, do I really want to do that or not? So I don't know. Maybe Lightspeed is definitely tempting. Yeah, I've used Fibonacci's. I've used Fibonacci retracements and extensions at one point in time. I've used about all the indicators that you can use at different points in time over the last 5 years, but I can't say I ever mastered any of them. So they didn't work for me, but that doesn't mean that they don't necessarily work. It's just that whenever I've tried them, it's kind of like trading in general or whatever. You can't hardly jump in and know everything about it. So yeah, I've used the Fibonacci stuff, but I researched it. I tried to understand it from YouTube, and then I put that stuff in play, and it became to me a bunch of lines on the screen, because by the time I had VWAP and moving averages and then extensions or retracements and all that on there, I could start justifying like anything. I could justify pretty much any move, either holding or selling or buying or whatever, because there was always some line nearby that I'm like, oh, I need to buy there, I need to sell there. So for me anyway, that's what it was like with a lot of the indicators, and so I just got rid of them. And I saw people like Ross, he made $5 million last year doing the same kind of strategy that I do, and he doesn't use all that stuff. So I got rid of it, and I just use 3 indicators typically. Was I trading when I had a full-time job? Yes. My job, I'll type it in here. Yeah, so yeah, I traded when I had a full-time job, because my job, I worked 12-hour days, but we would work 3 days on, 4 days off, 4 days on, 3 days off, and then I would take overtime days here and there. But there would end up being a lot of days that I didn't have to work, and those days I did trade. And there was also a lot of times that I traded at work from my phone, and some of my biggest losses came because of work. Like I'd be in a position and then be at work, and the time when I needed to be making a move or watching it or doing something would happen to be when somebody would need something, and I've got to go run and take care of it, and I end up taking $1,000 loss or something. I don't know. It didn't work very well for me, I'll say that, but I did do it. I traded actually more size and probably more frequently when I had a job than I do now. Okay, was there anything else that was really moving that we didn't look at? CPSH, maybe? I remember seeing that earlier. So that's a couple day move we've had here, a 3-day move. Broke out past the previous high, and now it's right there touching it. Traded 14 million shares today, up from the 3s. Yeah, that's probably going to be, I would be thinking at this point that would be more of a nice short. Even right now, actually, it might be a decent short. But I'm sure that none of my brokers have shares to short. They never do. But under VWAP and pushing that same previous high right there. So yeah, this might be a decent place to short it right now. I don't know if it'll keep moving up, but you could have a head and shoulders forming here, and it might end up coming down to at least 9, or it may eventually, fade back down from whence it came, since it was $3 a few days ago. Anyway, ever looked into TTG and Mike Edwards? That sounds familiar, but I don't know. What is it? I think I have heard of that, but I can't remember what it is. LXRX. This was the stock of the day, I think. This is my favorite one anyway. Traded 163 million almost shares now. And that's not for a $1 stock, so that's actually pretty good volume. I'm wondering if it's going to be able to hold above this VWAP and this kind of consolidation range and maybe curl up later on into tomorrow. That would be pretty cool. Okay. Well, we're pushing an hour, and I would love to stay and chat, but I got to do some other stuff. Got lots of stuff to cram in here tonight before the night's over. And I promised my kiddos I would take them to look at getting tablets. They want to get tablets. They already have tablets, but one of them broke their tablet. So now we got to go spend that Christmas money and that they got from the grandparents and all that, burning a hole in their pocket. So I promised them we would hit the stores today and do that. So I'm going to have to get out of here and go do that here shortly. But I think an hour is a pretty good chat. I like chatting with y'all. So thank you all for joining. Be here again tomorrow unless something comes up. Y'all have a great evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. About, give or take, 15 minutes after market close is when I try to get in here and get this going. So hopefully I'll see you guys in here tomorrow, and we'll talk about what's moving tomorrow. And hopefully we have an active day and some crazy movers, and we all make a bunch of money. Fingers crossed, right? Y'all have a good evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.